Hey guys, I'm doing another dumb Quran verse. This is from Surah 22, beginning of verse 25. And it says, "As for those who disbelieve and repel from God's path and from the sacred mosque, which we have designated for all mankind equally, whether residing therein or passing through, and whoever seeks to commit sacrilege therein, we will make him taste of a painful punishment. We showed Abraham the location of the house. Do not associate anything with me and purify my house for those who circle around, and those who stand to pray, and those who kneel and prostrate, and announce the pilgrimage to humanity. They will come to you on foot and on every transport. They will come from every distant point, that they may witness the benefits for themselves and celebrate the name of God during the appointed days for providing them with the animal livestock. So eat from it and feed the unfortunate poor. Then let them perform their acts of cleansing and fulfill their vows and circle around the ancient house." Okay, so this passage describes God telling Abraham to appoint Mecca and the Kaaba as the center of worship for all of mankind. So does that work historically or biblically? Is this possible historically or biblically? Well, one of the embarrassments of modern Islam is the lack of archaeology in Mecca. They build things there all the time, and it's not like in Jerusalem where as soon as someone digs 5 feet down, they've got a team of archaeologists and are digging up discovery after discovery, so that everything takes a long time. In Mecca, they're just able to bulldoze and throw up 30-story skyscrapers all the time. And there's no great archaeological discoveries because there's no history in Mecca. It's not mentioned anywhere before Islam. It was an irrelevant outpost before Muhammad, and during his lifetime in the early years, it was just like a way shrine that pagans would come to and perform their circling around this pagan temple. Now, biblically, it also makes no sense. The Bible is so not about anything that has to do with Mecca. If you read the Bible, the center is Israel and Jerusalem, which is over 1,000 kilometers away from Mecca. And no one mentions Mecca. No one mentions doing this this circling that was supposedly given to Abraham for all of mankind. It's believing this requires you to completely deny history and reject all of the historical findings surrounding how important Jerusalem was. It requires you to basically believe that even though this was the center of worship, for some reason the Jews and the Christians were totally ignorant of this until Muhammad came along. Even though God appointed this for all mankind, he wanted all of mankind to circle around, and it says they'll come from every distant point. For some reason, that got totally left out of the Bible completely. And instead, the Bible focused on Jerusalem and the temple there and the tabernacle in Israel. And no one ever cared about this outpost over 1,000 kilometers away. And I already know that there's a alleged mention of Mecca in the Bible. Muslims will go to Psalm 84 and say that this valley of Mecca refers to Mecca. I've gone through this in the article, "Is Muhammad in the Bible?" and I've showed how it's totally ridiculous. This is talking about a place which everyone who comes out of this valley, everyone pops out in Zion, which is a reference to Jerusalem specifically and Israel more broadly. And so if you look at a map, it's geographically impossible and defies common sense to say that everyone in Mecca pops out at Zion. It's impossible. So this is not referred to Mecca or the Kaaba. It's a complete joke. And Islam relies on a complete denial of history and a complete revision of history, where this was, the most important site for Jews, but no Jews ever heard of it. It's the most important site for the children of Israel, but it's totally left out of the Bible, and so are all these practices. And instead of the Bible, you have thousands and thousands and thousands of references to Jerusalem, Israel, the temple, the tabernacle, and no mention of this whatsoever. Why, Muslims? Why? Why? Why would that be expunged by Jews if this was important to them? It makes no sense. Look, just step back for a second. It is so much more likely, and I know you know it in your heart, even if you're Muslim, you know it in your heart, that it is so much more likely that this lying idiots came along in the 7th century and made all this stuff up than what he presents here as being actual history. because it's impossible. It makes no sense. Given the Bible that we have, the history that we know, it's historically impossible, Muslims, that this is true. And again, deep down, you know it, even if you are Muslim. All right, that's all for this one. See you guys.